Thank you and welcome to our 7th annual Loyalty Day. We're absolutely delighted to see so many of you here. Lots of regulars, see looking at the group there, and some new faces, and people from all around the world too. In fact, I've been advised that someone is tuning in from Australia, and it's 1 a.m. there, so I'm told. So I think we all need to help keep them awake, although I think we're going to do a pretty good job of that ourselves. You might have noticed that in the corner here, there's a snazzy QR code. By all means, if you use that QR code, it will take you to a very, very simple form just to ask questions. And last year, I don't know who was here last year. There's probably quite a few people who were here last year. We had, you might remember, lessons from around the world, where we had some really inspiring talks from people from continents all over the world. Fantastic. 12 months down the line, this year, we are growing supporter loyalty together. And the key word there is together. Together is a really important word for us, and it's an important concept. And at this point, I have to introduce Roger Lawson, and Kay Harrison. Roger Lawson, founder and director of About Loyalty. Kay Harrison, our loyalty action planner, your loyalty action planner. We're delighted to be here together and to bring this to you all together. So the word together is important because our community is very important to us. We've got actually lots of our members are here, and lots of friends and colleagues as well. And again, welcome to everybody for joining us this afternoon. Community is actually key to what we do, and I think today really brings that to life. You know, we're inviting you in, we're sharing things. We've got our friends and colleagues sharing their lessons and ideas, their results and their successes. And in fact, we're going to draw on a little bit on this morning. So some of you will have been here for our member workshop this morning, where we looked back on progress over the last year's workshops and our efforts to grow loyalty across lots of different charities. We looked at progress, we looked at challenges, and we also looked forward to the themes this afternoon. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail just shortly about this afternoon's programme and a bit of housekeeping. But first, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce Roger Lawson, our founder and director, who's going to give a keynote talk introducing the context of the day. So without further ado, thank you, Roger, and over to you.
Richard, yeah, really excited about today. I feel slightly honoured, actually, having looking at the list of people we've got speaking today. It's slightly humbling to be kicking this off, but really looking forward to it today, and really picking up on your point, Richard, of together. And I hope that there's a theme to today that I hope will come across, which is that we none of us can do this on our own, that we need to work together. We talk about it as a community, but together with our own organisations as well, for growing loyalty and changing the way that we engage and communicate with our supporters. And ultimately, being together comes to culture, and this is a well-used quote, but I think it's really important. I hope it sort of acts as a bit of a theme through the day as well, that we are talking about the cultures of our organisations. So, Loyalty Day. Loyalty is perhaps one of the most important concepts in our sector today. Anyone who's been to Loyalty Day before, anyone that's joined any of our webinars, etc., you'll know that we talk about loyalty a lot, and that when we talk about loyalty, we're talking about the emotions that people feel towards us, the sense of support, the sense of affinity. It's emotional, it's irrational, it's how people feel about us, and growing that is such an important thing. It's harder, really more expensive to recruit new supporters. It gets harder every year to do that. What I was talking to the director of fundraising last week, and he was just saying that the age of mass acquisition is over, and we need to change that. And at the core of that is building stronger, deeper, more emotionally involving, inspiring relationships with our supporters. It's more competitive. It's more competitive. The world we work in, the community, the way we build relationships with supporters is more competitive. From other charities, so many more other charities talking about the things that we talk about, but also from outside the sector. more competition to do good, if you like, from commercial brands that are that are offering to some extent the same emotional response and benefits that we can. People have less money to spend, less time in their lives. We live in a very busy and a difficult world financially for many people. That we know what's going on out there, and it's important that we are able to build our relationships and build strong relationships. And to do that, we need to really understand our supporters, what they want, and we need to deliver against that. So loyalty, critically important, and that's what we've got to be doing. Many of you will have seen our research. We're not going to talk in detail about this today. If you want to know, we're more than happy to talk separately about this, and we've got our reports. But many of you will know the headlines already. But we've seen and we've shown and we've proved that growing loyalty, growing that emotional connection, growing the happiness that people have with us, grows income. It can grow income by up to 20% over 3 years, and it can grow legacy income as well, and intention to give support. So that's the concept of loyalty. But why Loyalty Day? And particularly today, well, we think that growing loyalty is a subject matter that's so important. This is our 7th year of Loyalty Day. Our Chase Index members will know what I mean if I call it our Super 7th year. Super 7s are the top supporters, the most loyal. So this is our 7th year, and we're tackling big issues, because growing loyalty is not business as usual. It's not about channels and propensity models and the number of appeals you spend a year. Well, it is. It's about all of that, but it's about everything, every message, every ask, every moment that we have, everything we say, everything we do. In the past, we've talked about loyalty. We've shared our research. We've had case studies. We've talked about fundraising, campaigning. We talked about the front end, the sharp end, the end that the supporters see. Today, we're going to cover something just as important as that, because if we want to grow loyalty effectively, significantly, then we need to break out of the business as usual. We need to be thinking about our organizations and how we do it together. I want to start with a question. I'd just like you to take a second to think about this. Whose responsibility is it to grow supporter loyalty? Whose responsibility is it in your organization? Is it your supporter care teams? You know, the people who answer the phone, that read the emails, speak to supporters. I mean, that's why they're there, isn't it? To help the supporter, make them feel really good about you. Maybe you're one of these organizations now that has a dedicated supporter experience team. When we started this 7 years ago, that was almost unheard of. Now they're much more recognized, particularly in the larger organizations. Of course, it's their responsibility. Or the IG team, individual giving team. Or after all, they probably speak to more people than any other team in the organization, potentially. Retention, acquisition. Is it acquisitions? Well, it is, because first impressions count. It's the legacies team, it's your events team, it's your major donors, it's your corporate team. It's about membership, it's about your communications, about your brand, it's the way you tell your story. What about your CRM, your data, your systems teams? After all, they're the people that make everything possible. What about your finance team? What about the team that sets you targets, sets your goals and your objectives? They have a role in this. What about your programs and services team? They spend the money, but they make the impacts possible. And of course, they provide you with the information to tell your stories. Your HR team, your people team, making sure that everyone values supporters and everyone's working together. Leadership, trustees, everything comes from there. So for us, we really want to sort of kick off today by presenting the sort of round picture that growing supporter loyalty is everybody's responsibility. Everyone has a role to play. We put it to you, there isn't a single person in your organization that doesn't have some responsibility for growing supporter loyalty. Just think about that for a minute, what that means. It means you're not the person that does this on your own. Sure, you can redesign your welcome strategy, or you can improve your thanking, or you can create an impact report, or any number of things. But if you're doing that in an organization that is pressurizing you to raise short-term income, send yet another appeal, or an organization that doesn't recognize the emotional connection, the emotions that sit behind why people give, or one that doesn't value providing powerful stories, an organization that simply thinks fundraising is a bit of a necessary evil, we've all seen them, an organization that doesn't invest in the systems to make what you want to do possible, then you're struggling, aren't you? And that's the difficulties that many people many face and there. So that's what today is about. Everyone shares in this responsibility, and And what we want to do is we want to talk about that. We want to share ideas of how those things can come together today so that we can all grow loyalty together. So that's why today's theme is growing loyalty, support and loyalty together. That's why it's important. We can't do it on our own, but I'm going to come back at the end of the day, summarize some of what we've heard, and particularly think about what we can do to create the change in the organizations where we work, so that we can get that culture right, so that we can do this together. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to hand you back to Richard now, and I really hope you have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you, Roger. Brilliant. It absolutely just tees up the afternoon perfectly. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a quick run through of the agenda, who we're going to see this afternoon, and a bit of housekeeping. Without further ado, Loyalty Day 2023. As Roger said, that smiley face is about how we make people feel, and it leads to results. But we've talked about some different things that sit behind there. Roger's alluded to them. We've picked 4 themes that we think really underpin an organization's ability to deliver amazing experiences and grow loyalty. The first of these is strategy. And Jess Gillam from Macmillan is going to talk to us very soon about their journey, about how they've approached building a strategy collectively together in order to deliver better supporter experiences. We'll then move on to structure. Delighted to welcome Joe Jenkins from Children's Society, and he'll share some thoughts about his journey, about different approaches to structure and his experiences and what he's led for the Children's Society. We then have Aisha Sadiq from EW Group, who's going to talk to us about the importance and the real benefit of diversity, equity, and inclusion in bringing your organisation together and having greater impact. And we'll hear from Shahida Aslam from the Helena Kennedy Foundation, who'll talk about kind leadership and the role that leadership can play in delivering great supporter experiences. Each of those people will be talking for 15 minutes about some of those fundamental drivers of great supporter experience. Then Sarah Dalling and Lucy Richardson from Bernardo's are going to give us a case study, really about how all of those things can come together and talk through a legacy campaign that's really kind of built on those principles. And then we'll hear from Tracy Pritchard and Paul Amady from RSPCA and British Red Cross. We're going to reflect on some of the themes that we've gone through today, and then we'll round up with a panel discussion with most of our speakers, and to round up. So it's a huge thank you all of those people for their time and for like kind of being here with us all today. So I've talked about the chat, talked about Q&A. Each speaker will speak for around 15 minutes. And after that, we'll have a time for maybe a question, maybe 2 questions. And then we'll move on to an audience poll where you get a chance to get involved, get engaged, and actually give your thoughts across of the speaker's theme. Kay, our Loyalty Action Plan, is going to be leading that poll process.